ready. I'm ready.
Setting up, and then once it gets done, okay. Redirecting. Okay. We're live. Okay. You don't even really have to say you are live. No, see, we are redirecting. Okay. Okay. We are live. We're on Zoom, so in a minute I'm going to get rid of that.
Mm-hmm.
But hi everybody. I'm going to share this link on Facebook and then we'll say hi to everybody. Let's see. Let's see what picture it shows of us. It always picks silly ones. See? Yeah, my eyes are closed. Oh, we went. Okay. No, not really. Okay. Now we have to wait for people to get on here. This is where we're watching. Right now, I don't think anyone's on yet. It's still early. It's only just 10 o'clock. We could have that 15-minute rule, like if people don't log on. Okay, but we can see people there. We're here.
Okay.
Okay, and now we wait.
Okay, we're waiting.
We'll see who comes on. You could also actually go on your Facebook and see. We're competing with my rabbi brother Scott.
You want to take and put something on here?
You go to my page. It should have shared it. See, then you can press share. All righty. Let's see. Is anyone on yet? I don't think anyone's on yet. People are tired. They're tired from watching the news all night like us.
Is this it here?
Nope.
Nobody wants us. Everybody hates us.
Look, you're singing on camera. Started streaming 2 minutes ago. This is going to be an exciting 2 minutes that people are watching so far. Oh, Jay is there. Jay, you know Jay from Sarah's Temple.
Oh, yeah.
Say hi, Jay.
Hi, Jay.
Jay, we can always count on you for being here. This is we got on a little bit early, so now we wait. It sometimes takes 5 minutes for people to get on.
Well, it takes time.
We should have we should have had a piece of paper that said we'll be here shortly.
Okay. Oh, look at that big bald spot in the back of my head.
Oops, that's what happens when you shoot in front of a mirror.
Yeah, that's amazing.
All right, Jay, you might have a lot of questions to ask us if you're the only one. Or you'll have, see, he's right there.
Yeah, I see.
This is us, though.
This is us live.
This is us live. The other one, YouTube has like a 10-second delay. But we're just going to sit here and wait to see if people join. And if they don't, we'll just go back to sleep.
That's right. Well, we're getting ready to go. So there you go.
I know. My parents have been here for, it would be 4 weeks this Saturday. Yeah. Can't believe where the time has gone. And I mean, my mom, you are in the picture, but that's okay. It's been 4 weeks and Saturday. We had a broken now just close the door. We've had a broken refrigerator for about all but 1 day.
No, you mean yesterday was
yesterday, yeah. Can you, let's see, still one watching. I'll think of some for sure. Okay, Jay, think of some questions. I do think that the lighting, we might have to turn, maybe that's a little better.
There you go, that's better.
That's a little better.
That woke me up.
Woke you up.
Yeah.
We'll see who else who joined. Because of everything going on this week, I didn't do a lot of reminders, and I only announced that you were coming on late last night.
Yes, you did.
So maybe if I had announced that you would come on,
God, I would have brought millions on.
Millions.
Millions.
Hold on, did I forget to share this on the one problem is I might not have shared it on the temple page, so let me share it on the temple page.
Do it at home, huh?
Well, Temple Emmanuel. Do it at home. We don't really use that Facebook. Oh,
Okay.
see, you can tell my refrigerator's working because it's making that noise.
Mhm.
Edit. Okay. Let's see. Is there anyone on still? Jay?
Just Jay.
Just Jay. Jay, let's hear your questions. I mean, this might be a private one-on-one session.
Well, the
Well,
nice part of it
2-on-1.
is, Jay, that I could just say yes or no, and then we'd have it handled.
I think you could do that either way.
Yeah.
I'm trying. Okay. Facebook, I don't know about anybody else, but Facebook keeps changing. And I don't even have a little create post. There we go. Think. This is part of the problem with doing it through YouTube is that people don't get a little alert like when you're live on Facebook. When you go live, it says Emmanuel is live. So we'll see. Jay, we'll give it another like 7 minutes. If not, maybe we'll just, there's 2 people now. Who else is watching it? Does it feel hard for Mark to not see his grandchildren during this time?
Is that from Jay?
Yeah, that's from Jay.
Of course it does. That's why we're actually thinking about moving back down.
Ooh, you
at some
made an
point.
official announcement
Well,
online.
we're thinking about moving back down in order to be able to spend these hopefully many years watching people like that little Lucy grow up and Jaden. So it's yeah, I do. I do miss being away from them.
Yeah,
I got it. I answered.
you did. It was pretty concise too.
Yeah,
All right.
should I
See,
keep
now
on
people,
going?
you should.
Okay.
What about because you want to spend time with me?
Oh, of course, you're my kids. That's the whole point.
My parents moved to Walnut Creek
2012.
2012, and they picked up and they said, good riddance. And they
Yeah.
moved to a golf course. And my dad has spent a significant amount of time doing what he loves, playing golf.
And working and
In
consulting.
between like
and,
hand surgeries and stuff like that.
Stuff like that. But I haven't played in golf as much as as number 45.
Ooh. Actually, we should have gotten the number of how many times. I think he's played 256 days.
I think it's more than that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And that was just last weekend.
So because I always, first of all, for everybody else who's here, we on YouTube, we can't see your name. Like Facebook, it pops up and says, well, this person has joined. So first of all, ask questions, but this is my dad, Dr. Mark Weiss. He is a podiatrist, a retired podiatrist. And when he was 19 or 20 years old, he married my mother, 19.
Oh gosh, we're going to move that far away?
Yeah.
A long, long time ago.
He grew up, I think it's unique that my dad is born and raised in LA. I feel like that doesn't happen so much. Do we have enough light on us, by the way? We could turn on another light, but the mood feels right now, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if we're all speckly like it shows there. But then my dad and mom got married when they were very young. And my dad went to podiatry school in San Francisco.
And then we moved back down.
Yeah. And
we moved from several different places. Finally centering our life in and around Century City, Beverly Hills.
After the 94 earthquake.
Right.
It wasn't for the 94 earthquake. I don't know. It was a major change in our lives. And that's when we joined Temple Emmanuel Beverly Hills. That's when, but he had a whole life with 2 young children before the triplets came along with Scott and Allie. Just imagine, had we not been born.
Just imagine.
You would have been your age right now with a 50 and 47-year-old daughter.
And 3 grandchildren.
And 3 grandchildren.
Just imagine.
So boring.
Oh God, I don't know what to say.
Lighting is fine. You do see, Karen is telling me. Thank you, Karen. She says the lighting is fine, but you do see the reflections in the mirror. Yeah, but that's all this is where I always shoot. So it's okay.
Should I go like this? Is that better? No, we have to go like that. Is that better?
Thank you, Karen. Karen, do you have any questions for us? So anyways, it was hard. I've had special guests every week and my parents have been here. I'm very lucky that they've been here through this really, really difficult week. And I'm trying to figure out which way I need to get close to you during this really difficult week. And they've kept me safe. And I mean, I did feel safe, I do have to say, but it probably would have felt scarier if you guys weren't here. And hopefully the worst of the dangerous kind of part of these protests are over and there's only peaceful protests. And when my parents go up to Walnut Creek, they are not faced with a lot of protests because there's been a lot there too.
There's a whole bunch.
No city is untouched. And it's been interesting spending this time talking about what's happening in our world today. My dad has talked a lot about growing up in Culver City in a very integrated household schools, right, in the 50s.
Very much so.
Where there really was no color, even though when you think of the civil rights movement and stuff like that, I mean, did things change in the 60s, like at the heart of the civil rights movement for you?
There were some times it was much better, but I mean, I remember being at Camp Saratoga. This goes back into 1958 or 59 when I was a camper. Maybe it was when I was a counselor. I don't remember. They did a sociodrama with a.
I don't even know what that is.
A sociodrama is a
Skit?
planned event.
Oh, okay.
A planned event in the mess hall. And what happened is one of the we had several African Americans working on the grounds of the camp, and one of the counselors stood up and threw water on one of the guys, and started calling him inappropriate names, and it became sort of a theme for several days of discussion. And I can tell you that that's the kind of stuff that teaches lessons, and it lowers barriers between people.
But what's interesting is ultimately you were at an all-white Jewish camp.
Yeah.
And that's part of the stuff that we're talking about is, according to the Pew studies, 20% of Jews are Jews of color.
20% now?
20%.
Wow.
Well, technically, like that's what they're saying, but that's not represented, certainly not represented in most congregations. And the question is why? So when people went out who identify as Jews, is it that people of color aren't being counted, or are they not part of the study for some reason? They're not affiliated. So, I mean, so much of what we're trying to do with our congregation is to look at, our inherent kind of racial biases and stuff like that. But it's interesting that my dad grew up going to school in a very integrated setting, but we don't realize that when you go off to summer camp, it was in a white Jewish.
Of course, it was my youth group work as a child.
And it seems like my mom is giving tips. Hold on one second. You had to pay extra to get my mom's opinion from the kitchen for that one. But yes, but that ultimately, now it's getting really dark in here. I think we should turn that light on. Sorry.
Down low.
Yeah. So I do have some facts today, but we also, that is like a little, you can go higher. Okay, there we go. That's better. Okay, there we go, people. So again, if you have questions for my dad, but it has been interesting talking about all of the politics behind the protests. My dad and I had a really interesting conversation with his good friend, Bishop Ken Ulmer, who some of you might have seen on the Today Show on Monday.
He had a piece in the LA Times.
He had a piece in the LA Times. It's interesting. He's really being called on to, he feels the call to yell out to his Episcopal clergy to say, don't incite this violence, don't, things like that. but he also is a voice that has been very well accepted into the Jewish community. He works with Wilshire Boulevard Temple. He works with Stephen Wise. He'll be sending a message for our Shabbat service tomorrow night. And I don't know, I thought maybe we could tell people a little bit about what he had to say. My dad called him on Friday to just say, how are you doing? He's the bishop of Faith Central in downtown, Faithful Central. It has
not downtown Inglewood.
In Inglewood. It has over 20,000 members. This is Bishop Ken Ulmer. And my dad, how'd you meet him?
I met him 40 years ago. He and his wife were both patients of mine, actually.
Okay, they were patients of my dad. My dad met some of the best people through his through his practice. Yeah. And I remember as a small kid, not many times, but definitely going to the church, and they
I almost became a Presbyterian African American. I don't know quite how to say that, but I wanted to join their church because it's so exciting.
Yeah, and I would especially once we open back up, I really recommend people to go to the service. But we're also going to be sharing the information this week of how you can attend their Zoom services. So that will be really interesting. But they have an amazing choir, and we should just be doing more.
No, it's not.
More.
No, it's not.
More.
No.
My mom is literally in the middle of the screen. Okay, so what he mostly had to say was, we asked him, well, you know, we have congregants whose property have been looted, and maybe you guys have been in this position where you post something, for example, I did, about how our old school building was vandalized, mind you, with something, it said no justice, no peace. And a lot of people came back and said, you shouldn't care about property damage. You shouldn't care about all this stuff. And so I asked him, I said, where's the balance between being empathetic for people who have lost their businesses, maybe people, these mama and pop businesses who they've had it for 30 years and all of a sudden they get looted. And basically his Bishop Ken Ulmer's response was, I can explain why these young men, as he put it, are doing it. I can't condone it. What was the greatest takeaway?
Well, look, my greatest takeaway with him, which has been forever, is the fact that he spent. He became a bishop long ago, and
what was he before?
He actually, I think he was in radio sales, and not sales. Relevant. Yeah. But he talked to me several times. We were very close, and he talked to me several times about the most painful part of his experiences as a clerical, excuse me, was when he had to put young men to sleep. I mean, to bury young men, men who were standing on the street corner and getting shot. And that's the young men that spent an inordinate amount of time in gangs. But then there were also the ones that got murdered by some force of authority, whether it's the police or whatever. It doesn't really make any difference. The pain that he went through time and time again, it's like burying your child. And with 20,000 members of a wonderful church, I would assume you're pretty well involved with all their life cycle events. And the end of life cycle for an 18 or 16-year-old child is something that, how do you put that into perspective?
Yeah, he was interviewed yesterday, and one of the things, that all of us are saying is how should our communities respond to maybe your community who's more affected by police brutality? And his answer was very simple, which is sometimes you just have to cry with us, is to open your heart and cry with us.
Absolutely.
I think he had some interesting things to say about the fact that there is no easy answer to fixing this situation, that it's a justice system, and that he doesn't necessarily trust anybody who thinks that you can come in with an easy answer, because there's nothing easy about this. And my dad's looking at his
emoji,
his it had it with his text. So first of all, does anybody have any thoughts or concerns about how you have been dealing with the events of this week? Did anybody go out on their patio and or on their front lawn and show your flashlight last night? On my street, which probably a couple hundred people live on, we only saw 4 or 5 different groups of people. So I would love to see that that continue. Hi, Raymond. But I do have some facts, but I just want to, I do have some fun facts, but I just wanted to give everybody, another few minutes to let us know how you're feeling today. I think the hardest part about it for me is just feeling a loss of knowing, again, it's kind of like the coronavirus where you don't know when it was going to end.
Yeah.
Kind of feels like that with this situation. Raymond says, I'm just scared that the Huntington Beach, is that Huntington Beach riots are less than a mile from my house. Yeah, I would say, Raymond, that focus, if you can, your energy on the peaceful riots that are happening before sundown. And hi, David Cohen.
Hi, David.
To focus your energy on the peaceful riots. I think police, in whatever way they are trying to do, are trying to block the violence from getting into neighborhoods. Jay was scared Sunday when it hit Long Beach, but glad Temple Israel was okay. Yeah, we had a discussion last night with our temple. I know that Sharon went and took the Torahs out of the temple. We had the same thought about Emmanuel, and then we realized that in many ways our building was much more secure than my apartment.
Oh, there's no question about that.
We have a security guard, we have bulletproof glass and everything like that. That was my confirmation. By the way, I do want to tell people I was following an interesting, somehow somebody shared it. It was an interesting man who was on the streets. It's called Scotty's there. Converge Media.
Hi, Scotty.
Scott, do you want to join us? That would be so fun. Hold on. Sorry, that's my rabbi brother, Scott, and he's going to end up doing a Think About It Thursdays, but I'm going to send him this little link if he wants to join real quick. Maybe he'll jump on the screen. That would be really fun. So I'm on for a few minutes and then I have to start. Scott, just come on and wave hi so people can see us all on the same screen.
For sure.
Rabbi Scott Weiss is my older brother. He's a rabbi in Houston and actually has, look, he's coming on. This is so exciting. Hi, you're on live. You are on live. Think About It Thursday.
Oh wait, let me turn it off on YouTube. Hang on.
Oh yeah, you're hearing us on YouTube. Hi everybody. Okay, so everybody, this is Scott. This is my big brother, known to me as Scotty, but
known to me as Hey Rabbi.
Hello.
And Scott was a rabbi for 12 years in Birmingham, Alabama, and now is in Houston. And Scott, we were just processing. We're trying to start processing everything going on, which is impossible for anybody to do in 2 minutes on Zoom. But we were sharing some of the words that Ken Ulmer had, which has been interesting. And our stage manager mother is giving us notes.
Look at it.
You said, okay.
That's a really not
okay.
good.
My mom said I
Fix
said
it.
peaceful riots instead of
should be
peaceful
peaceful
protests.
protests.
Okay, I'm right. Okay.
Mom, do you know that we can see you?
See you in the camera. Okay, Scott. If you were able to you only have 30 seconds.
Yeah.
What's your biggest question you have right now about everything going on?
My biggest question?
What are you thinking in your head?
Oh.
every week I write a blog article, and sometimes I'm able to get it done and pretty quickly. And this one I think I wrote 3 different articles, because each time I finished one, it was like, no, that doesn't make sense, or that doesn't work. But the one that I'm working on now, that I'm still working on, is I was just drawing the comparison to Kennedy's speech about the moonshot, and how, according to many, how virtually impossible it seemed in 1961 or 62 that this could happen, right? That we could put a man on the moon. And I think what I'm waiting for and wondering is, when are we going to see a national leader set a bar that says, be humble, and that we're not going to fix this in a day. But our goal is by 2030, and then have a set of standards that we are as a society. But in order to do that, we'd have to admit there's a problem, right? And I think that's the great struggle.
Well,
And have it be accepted across the board. There is a problem now. That becomes the basis. And how do you solve the problems? It's like science.
Yeah, I don't actually care that everybody agrees that there's a problem. I just think that we need a preponderance of people to care.
Right. Gotcha.
Right?
well, I said, my biggest question that I was thinking is, what's going to end the current protests? Like, what is it going to take for the curfews to be lifted, for, and we were talking about this last night, and having the other 3 cops arrested, that was one step. But I also think that had we had a president who, I was trying to think, if this wasn't Trump, in the big picture, if there was a president who put out a national decree not to call in the National Guard, but to take a knee, literally dictated to every sheriff and every police officer and every military police in the country, you are to go out there and all you are to do is take a knee. What would happen?
Reality sets in. That's what would happen, and people would be getting hurt because it's not. There are that
opportunists.
There is that segment of the population that are going to take every opportunity they can to get something for free, I guess. And that's
unfortunately, our president becomes the X factor that,
right.
There's always debate about how much influence or how much impact the president can have, right, on the world.
Right.
When moments like these, the president can have a really profound impact, both positively or negatively. And unfortunately for us, the more conflict, it's better for him, right? So I don't think he has a vested interest in doing things that would make for peace, because his numbers go up when there's more conflict, unfortunately.
Okay. Do you believe that it's good for the human, should we be given permission to take our minds off of this for a bit and take a break?
No, without a doubt. You can't, I mean, it's a central element, it's a central lesson of Shabbat. It's a central element of life. Like, you cannot be 100% into everything, into an issue, because you lose perspective even. And not to mention the fact that you exhaust yourself, you exhaust others. You gotta have the willingness to step back. And what's at core of it is counting your blessings, being able to, all right, what is going right in my life, in the world, so that I have a base from which to,
I think where that gets complicated, what I've been called out for is, but be careful, because you can count your blessings, and there's people who are out there who don't have anything to be grateful for.
Baloney. That is baloney. That is baloney.
And I've been told, don't share. I'm just being honest with you.
No, I know.
Could have come from a member of our family. Don't share pictures of the food you're eating. Not from you. Don't share.
I think that's actually probably a good idea, but because I have a problem with that in general.
You don't like
think that's
food
ridiculous. I think that's absurd in general. I think it's also all about that comparative suffering and comparative reward and like, ooh, look at me, and then other people. I mean, I think that's a problem. But the idea that there are people who don't have anything to be grateful for. I mean, I think every religious tradition would stand in opposition of that. Because if you don't, then there's nothing to be hopeful for.
So when I started this Think About It Thursdays, the first week of the pandemic, the goal was like, I'm going to talk about non-pandemic stuff. Like I'm going to find current events. And like, it became very clear that there was literally nothing else, to talk about. And so we kind of pivoted to using this hour, which now we've been on for a half hour, but to using this hour for fun and for like sharing funny facts. And so I do have some facts prepared, but that's
I'm gonna
why
let you do that, but I have to jump because I have to go teach a class.
Okay, do you have one fact about something weird that you know that you would want to share? If not, I'll tell you one before you go.
Yeah, tell me one real quick because I gotta get on.
A person will die from lack of sleep sooner than starvation.
There you go.
Did you know that? Yeah, and usually that takes a couple weeks. So you should get to sleep.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Okay, everybody. Bye-bye. What?
We were muted that whole time. How did that happen? Thank you, David Cohen. Oh, that's weird. We're gonna start over this part of the conversation. I'm sorry, everyone. Can you hear us now? We were muted for some reason.
Well, I don't know why.
Okay, so what I asked was, Dad, you get another try. What is the most interesting fact about the foot?
That
And the ankle.
It can be.
You're muted.
I know, we fixed it, Mom. Oh my gosh. Okay.
This is what you call a family affair.
I know.
Excuse me.
Okay. Interesting fact about the foot and ankle.
When it feels good, it's great. When it feels really, really bad, everything hurts. And it is a mirror to the rest of your body.
It's a mirror to the rest of your
If
body.
you're a diabetic, problems with the foot become a real serious issue. If oh God, if you're malnourished, the foot becomes a major issue. But if you're healthy, from a standpoint of the appearance of the foot, everything's great. However,
this is just Karen. Karen's my stage manager on the other side, and she's talking about my mom. Number one, my mom is okay. You don't need to feel bad for my mom. She's packing. She's listening to a TV show. She's listening to us. She's listening to us, and then she's reporting, and that's just our dynamic. But she needs to pack because if she's not ready to leave, my dad will be less than thrilled in a little bit.
At this point, I don't really care.
Okay, wait. So when you say it's a mirror to the body, like I've heard people will walk in sometimes and say like they come in for like a backache.
Right.
But it really came from their foot.
Well,
right?
Yes and no, because what causes the foot problem? Is it something proximal to the foot, or is it the foot itself? Is it a leg length discrepancy? I don't want to get into that.
So I just have to say one of the
this is really boring shit.
Yeah. One of the weird facts about me, and my dad knows, is like I've always said that if I didn't discover my my love of or my talent of singing, I probably would have been a doctor. And I have like a really weird fascination with medical shows, both like documentaries, but also like Dr. Pimple Popper and
very intellectual.
My foot is killing me. Is that what's
very
called?
intellectual?
So my dad and I started watching My Feet Are Killing Me on TLC together. And
no, once or twice. I think I watched it twice.
Okay, and he wasn't like overly impressed.
No.
by what he saw. But okay, before I go on to the rest of the body facts,
Yes.
do you like remember one case that was particularly like unbelievable in your career? I actually thought of one which has to do with a celebrity, but you don't have to say who the celebrity was.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
Okay.
I look.
Well,
There's,
two. I could think of a lot of them. But.
There's a lot of them, and I can't mention any names, but one particular individual was a bodyguard for a major star. He went up
and his kids.
And his kids, and he went up. The daughter locked herself out of her room, and this young man who has now passed away decided that he was going to take him, try and get up a trellis on the outside of the house to get up to the room, to get in and then off the door. He fell. He landed right on the heels of both feet. He fractured his back. It was
and you got a call. What was it, in the middle of the night?
Middle of the night, and he was sitting, and he was also HIV positive, and he was laying in a bed at Cedars, and nobody had given him any pain medications. That's not being. I shouldn't get into names, but bottom line is that we spent 2 sessions of 6 hours of surgery on each, reconstructing his heel bones.
Because they were all
more
shattered.
importantly, he was never the same. The sweetest guy in the entire world. Interesting fellow. Anyway, that was probably the most interesting case.
Well, yeah, shattered. I could not even begin to understand how you put together a shattered heel.
Yeah, it's like taking a porcelain plate and throwing it into a marble floor. It shatters, and sweeping it all up. How do you organize all the pieces? It was.
Did he walk again?
Oh yeah, he walked again, and he was great.
Wow.
But he finally ended up dying of complications of his AIDS after having AIDS for like 30 years.
I don't think I realized that.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna share. I think we're gonna share for 10 more minutes, and then we're gonna go. All right. Do you know that each person sheds 22 kilograms of skin in his or her lifetime?
Sure.
I don't know what kilograms are, but that's okay.
Kilograms, how many is it? I don't even remember anymore. Let's see, here you have.
Oh, this is a weird fact.
Okay.
1 in 2,000 babies is born with a tooth.
I could tell you a story about that.
Really?
Yeah, your Uncle Kenny.
He was born with a tooth?
2 teeth.
Whoa!
And my mother never nursed after that. So there.
Wait, like you could see his teeth?
I wasn't there. He was 5 years old.
I wonder if that's a genetic thing.
I don't know, because I didn't. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe he was in the womb longer.
Did you know that 1 in 20 has an extra rib in their body?
No, I didn't know that.
And it's usually a man.
Okay, well, that makes sense, especially when you go back into biblical times.
Okay, here we go, Dad. I'm going to ask you. This one is not trivia. These aren't trivia really yet. Did you know that you're taller in the morning? How much taller are you in the morning than the night?
I don't know how much taller, but the reactive force of gravity shrinks you.
Exactly. It says you are taller in the morning throughout the day. The cartilage between your bones is compressed, making you 1 centimeter shorter by day's end. I don't need to end. I should never sleep.
Yeah, either that or you should. I don't know quite what to say on that.
Okay.
Here it is.
Oh my God. This is
1 kilogram is 2.2 points.
2.25 pounds. Okay. Did you know that? Oh, this is weird. How long? Okay, I'm sorry for this one. How long does the human head remain conscious after it's been decapitated?
I've always wondered that. I have no idea. I would assume.
You've wondered that?
Yeah, I've wondered that.
It's like the concept of a chicken with its head cut off.
Well,
all right, we're taking guess now, guys. How long does the human head remain conscious after it's been decapitated? And how did they figure this out?
I would say 3 to 4 minutes because of oxygenation.
My head gets, I lay over there.
I don't know if it's consciousness. I think it would be probably.
No, so this is consciousness, like full on consciousness.
Knowing that you've been screwed up.
Right, exactly. Knowing that your head has been chopped off.
I don't know.
Let's see, are we getting any guesses?
No, everybody's afraid.
Everybody's afraid of the answer. Okay, we're not going to decapitate you. All right, let's see. 60 seconds, Jay says.
I would say 30 to 50. 42 seconds. I don't
That
know.
would be a horrible way to die.
You think? You think?
Just knowing that would be horrible. Okay, the answer is 15 to 20 seconds. Even that, too long for me. Okay, did you know that every person, like fingerprints, has unique tongue prints?
I would assume that.
That's interesting. Oh, I read a fact to my mom this morning, which is interesting.
What good does that do?
Every
If you
having
have
a-
it, how do you take your thumb with your tongue print?
maybe
mean,
if
the
they're
fact
trying
is-
to, if somebody licked something on a murder scene, then
Like a stamp or something.
like a stamp.
Or
Yeah,
they
exactly.
tried to unlock a lock with their tongue. I'm sorry. That's kind of weird.
That's true.
Yeah.
Who figured that out? I don't know, David. This website that I'm on figured that. Yeah, that actually, I should look into the origins of who figured that out.
What? About the tongue? I'm sure it had to do with somebody licking a stamp or something
No,
like that.
not about the tongue. He's talking about the head being decapitated.
Oh.
That would be an interesting thing to read.
Should we give it a try?
We figured it out, didn't you know? Okay. What is the strongest muscle in the human body? And what is the hardest muscle?
The gastrocnemius.
Strongest muscle is
The tongue. That's right. That's right.
The
I remember
tongue.
that. I remember hearing
the
that.
hardest muscle in the body. The hardest bone in the body. Sorry.
Hardest bone in the body?
Hardest bone in the body.
Oh, your skull.
They need the head. No volunteers. Hi, Robin Platt. I've
Hi,
never
Robin.
seen you on YouTube. Tracks frozen on a signpost. Oh, like if somebody licked a signpost, is that what you're saying, Penny? Okay. What is the hardest bone in the body?
Hardest bone in the body. I was going to say, the jaw.
Yeah.
The mandible.
It just says jaw.
Okay. I was going to say the skull. That's pretty close to it.
Okay, this is actually, you want to read that one? Because it's very, very interesting with coronavirus right now.
Yeah.
Okay, read that one.
Sneezes regularly exceed 100 miles per hour. How much does a cough?
Yes. So if a sneeze
Is 100 miles per
is
hour?
100 miles per hour, how coughs clock in at how many miles per hour?
There you go. That's a better way to put it.
How many hours per hour? How many
Miles
miles per hour? So a sneeze is
100.
100. What is a cough?
I know the answer.
Okay, let's give people a couple seconds to figure it out. Let's see.
Nobody's saying they're not there.
80, Penny says. He's very smart. He's usually pretty close. 80. So the answer is.
Jay said 50.
Jay said 50.
Jay, you're closer.
Yep.
Anybody want to come
Somewhere
up with
between
something?
Jay and Penny.
I just did it just now. Did you count how far away?
All right. The answer is 60 miles per hour. So it's much worse to be around someone sneezing on you. Well, I mean, the sneeze will go
of course,
further,
it'll
I
go
guess.
further, yeah. But you still have to use your what do you call it? Your sneeze in your
Yeah, you
elbow.
should sneeze in your
always
elbow.
Yeah, so
That's what we teach
protects
Lucy.
it. Yeah.
By the way,
Robin said 30.
Robin said 30, a little bit more, Robin, 60. But I do have to say, how many people here have not gotten sick in the last 3 months who normally would have gotten a cold or something like that? I have found that my spring cold that I normally didn't get. And what that means is I'm going to be wearing a mask for the rest of my life. I'm going to be shaking people's hands with gloves on during high holidays, not this year probably, but next year with a mask on my face. There's something to be said about at least wearing a mask when you're shaking the hands of hundreds of people
There's no question.
between high holidays, because I tend to get sick every year between the high holidays.
Yep.
And I realized that if you just live in a bubble, then you won't get sick. I don't think.
But that's not necessarily so, because there's other things that other than viral or bacterial issues.
My family. I'm not sure what she's referring to. Okay. We love your family though. All right. Did you know your brain doesn't feel pain?
Right.
Even though the brain processes pain
Yeah.
signals, the brain itself does not actually feel pain. Oh, this is the weird one that I was going to say. Every single person has a unique smell. Okay? Every person on this planet has a unique smell. And I'm not talking about somebody doesn't smell good. I'm talking about inherently people have a unique
Can't see
smell.
the answer.
Except identical twins technically smell the same.
No kidding.
Isn't that a weird fact?
That's a lovely fact. I don't know what we'll do with it though, do you?
I just think it's weird. I mean, I don't think we would ever be able to detect it because unless
How
they
do you smell
use
them both?
the same, yeah, number one. And also like unless they use the same shampoo and the same, like our brains are not well enough. Like anyways, does anyone know identical twins and do you think they smell the same?
Oh gosh.
Listen, that's why, yeah, see, it says every one has a unique smell except for identical twins who smell the same. All right, you want to read, oh yeah, this was an interesting one. Number 19, did you know this one? Unless they eat differently. Yeah, Penny, that's why I'm having issues with the whole identical twin thing. Cause like they could eat differently. You could shower differently. One could be more hygienic than the other. But the point is at the core, the unique smell is different.
Yeah, work out at the gym. So did you know that humans are the only animals to produce emotional tears? But I've seen gorillas where they talk to the gorillas and they get upset and their eyes water. So that's tears.
Maybe it's not emotional. I don't know.
But
we're gonna have to do some more research into that.
I think that has an issue.
The human heart creates enough pressure to squirt blood how far into the air?
Yeah, I know that.
Did you know that one?
Mm-hmm.
The human heart creates enough pressure to squirt blood how many feet into the air? We'll go for 4 more minutes.
Na 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 na
na na na na na na na. Na 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 na.
Nobody's answering.
I know. Sometimes we have a very active crowd, sometimes we don't. Today's in between. The answer is 30 feet.
Can you imagine that?
I don't.
The heart is the, you know, if you think about it, the heart has to take and push blood all the way through your body, both against gravity and with gravity. So it's a very powerful muscle.
Does that mean that like if you're 6'7", your heart is bigger? Like is it commensurate?
Well, it's a larger cavity, so I would assume it has to. I don't know.
I wonder if people's hearts are bigger if you're the bigger. Now, I'm not talking about like inflamed hearts or anything like that. Like at the core, is someone's heart of someone who's 4'11" different than someone who's 6'7"?
I would assume so. Absolutely.
Does anybody know the answer to that? The answer was Penny was 30 feet for that one. Apparently, it's not possible to tickle yourself. Okay, but thinking
Would you think I was going to tickle you?
I just went like that. Okay, if humans have 46 chromosomes, how many chromosomes does a pea have? No, you didn't know that though. You just looked. If humans have 46 chromosomes, how many chromosomes does a pea have? We're waiting.
Yeah, it's okay. Go ahead. I know you got your voice from me, so it's up to
you. Did we get any answers? I sang the whole song. I have no clue. Maybe 10. I forgot the question.
It was about the chromosomes.
The answer is 14.
Yeah.
Humans have 46 chromosomes, peas have 14, and crayfish have 200 chromosomes. That's interesting. Crayfish have a lot of chromosomes.
That's a heck of a lot of chromosomes.
I didn't realize that humans only have 46 chromosomes.
Of course.
Yeah, I guess that doesn't seem like a lot. All right, we have 3 more. The tooth is the only part of the human body that can't repair itself.
It's true. You grow teeth, but you can't. It won't.
They won't regrow.
Right.
Even like bone, a lot of bones will
Unlike
regrow.
a shark's tooth. Unlike a shark's tooth.
What's that too?
A shark's tooth, they regenerate teeth all the time.
Is that why they're not afraid to bite things?
I don't know about that, but they live on biting things.
Okay,
And they need
that is true.
sharp teeth.
That's true. Okay, this is the last. Oh, by the way, 2 out of 3 people cannot see perfectly.
I know, I heard that.
That means if Sarah, Ryan, and I think that's me. No, it's me and Sarah, I guess. Ryan has pretty good vision, right?
That's an interesting one.
Okay, go ahead and read that one. Number 24.
How many cigarettes would it take to kill an adult if it ingested whole?
How many
How many
cigarettes
would it take to kill an adult if ingested whole? In whole, each cigarette is ingested.
Ugh, why would someone do that?
Oh, somebody said. Oh, David said hairlines. What is hairlines? What are you talking about hairlines?
I don't know.
Neither one of us have much of one, David.
I do
Yeah, you do.
so far. We'll see.
Come on.
Corona hair.
Anybody have an idea? One? No.
One,
No, it would probably kill both of us. 2 packs? No, Penny.
2. Well, yeah. How many
It's
are in a
act-
how many
actually-
cigarettes are in a pack?
20, I think.
20.
4 is the answer.
It only would take
4
4 or 5 cigarettes to kill an average adult if ingested whole. The previous question. We don't even remember. Oh, how many? I don't know. I don't remember what he said. Okay. And the last, I have more here. Okay, I have a couple more. Your nose can remember 50,000 different scents. And women are better smellers. That's why we can smell stinky people. Okay.
How about twins? Identical twins.
Yeah, we would be able to smell the difference between regeneration. Oh, hair. Well, hair can regenerate.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, it's only the teeth are the only
teeth are the
that
only
can't.
things. Yeah.
All right, we officially have like just a couple more. All right.
Oh, I see what you're saying, David. Just got it. Okay, go ahead. We're talking about teeth, though.
The previous question. Okay. There's different things that regenerate,
Okay.
like bones, liver, kidneys can regenerate.
No. Well, yeah, they can. No, they can't. It's a gland. You can't regenerate.
But you can live without.
Excuse me.
Okay. Your brain operates on how many watts of power?
That I don't know.
I guess if you would say like if you plugged in your brain, how many watts of power would you need?
No, it's how many watts of power is generated in order for your brain to function.
Oh, I was thinking your brain it operates on 10 watts of power.
Yeah, it has to have 10 watts of power to operate.
Okay, well there you go. 10 watts of power is
We
the
answered
answer.
the question.
Last but not least, did you know for our last Think About It Thursday fact of the day? Oh, well, okay. Our second to last Think About It Thursday fact of the day.
Ask that question. How
What
much?
percent of the brain is water?
Bye-bye, Jay.
80% of the brain is water.
That's right.
That's why you got to stay hydrated. Okay, and last but not least, this is interesting. Your hearing, your hearing decreases when you overheat.
Yeah.
So on a hot summer day, and then you took a run, I know it's like you feel kind of clouded.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that I have any experience with that.
Blood's
but-
rushing to every other part of your body. Think
right.
about it, and not,
So
I don't know.
So your hearing isn't as
acute.
acute. Thank you guys for joining us. We had people in and out this whole time. And thank you to my brother, Rabbi Scott Hausman Weiss, for joining us for that pop-in for 5 minutes. That was
That's
fun.
fun.
And thank you to my dad for joining me next week. And he's going to go home now, but he can always jump in from your house.
Oh, I could. I have.
It's just Zoom, yeah. And then next week, I just want to say that I have my longtime childhood friend, Lauren Croft, coming. Lauren Croft coming in. She is one of the deputy ADL regional directors, Anti-Defamation League. And she deals with a ton of stuff, online hate, and she's going to share some facts and do an interview. So I think it'll be really, really interesting. And I just want to tell everyone to join us for services tomorrow night. We moved Pride to next week, and tomorrow night we're going to focus more on just the world of our civil unrest today. So, Dad, any closing comments?
Just stay safe. Hope for the best of outcomes, both with the pandemic as well as with what's going on with the people who are trying to make their lives important and to be respected. Other than that, no.
All right.
Talk to
That's
you
it.
later. See you in a
Think
month
about
or so.
Thursday.